Launching in November 2001, the Xbox was Microsoft's first proper foray into the home console market. They'd existed in the PC space for a considerable time, of course, but with Sony showing how a newcomer could make an impact some years prior, and with Sega's market share all but gone, Big Bill's House of Software saw an opening. And it all started off very well indeed. The Xbox was a smash hit, boasting a record-breaking launch and selling through 1.5 million units before the end of 2001. This was naturally helped by some pretty good games. However, despite having Rock the Rock Roxon unveil the thing alongside a bewildered Bill Gates, Microsoft actually ended up losing over $4 billion during the Xbox's time on the market as they were selling the system at a considerable loss. It paid off in a big way to get a giant green foot in the door though, as Xbox persists as one of the big three in home gaming to this day. But where and with what games did it all start? Well, today we'll be looking at the European launch lineup of original Xbox games and sort of reviewing them as we go. Please turn off ad blocker if you have it on. This video was kind of expensive to make. Are you ready? Then let's do this. Amped Freestyle Snowboarding is, unsurprisingly, a snowboarding game. You may recognise its name as we've covered an Amped game before, that being Amped 3, which was part of the Xbox 360 launch lineup, and it didn't take itself too seriously.
Wienerland! It's the radical new snow surfing action playset.
Wiener's out for Wiener Boy, everyone. In stark contrast then, Amped 1 is based far more in realism, with a live-action-y intro a la the radical cool skater boy Birdman, and a roster of real snowboarders to choose from. Sadly, my convoluted capture setup did not like the menus, and so I could not create my own powder enthusiast, sadly. That wasn't going to get me down though, because that was this tree's job.
Please help, I came here with a group and we've been separated.
It's a little more obtuse than its successor, with grinds and tricks being a little fiddlier to pull off. Needless to say, I fell over a lot, said
Sayonara,
to a photographer, and made a beeline for a hot chocolate at the ski lodge. 78% according to an average of reviews on Metacritic. Oh, that start menu, eh? Whoa, what a looker! We've done this one before, namely in the Playing Every GameCube launch game video, but seeing as the two systems released 3 days apart in 2001, it's surprising there's not more crossover between the launch lineups. I mean, there's more than just Batman Vengeance, but we'll get to those later. Anyway, have you ever laughed so loud and so maniacally that Batman heard you? Well, there we are, complete with the requisite million camera angle cuts. Oh, Jesus! There's not a great deal more I can say about Vengeance that I didn't cover in the other video. Batman still runs like he's pooed himself, you fall off buildings a lot, climbing ladders is weird, this Joker is horrifying, first-person aiming for gadgets is a bit wonky, but it's got really lofty ambitions. The art style is nice, I like the design of the Batcave, it has a strong start menu. This time around, however, it legitimately inspired me to go and replay Arkham City, so well done, game.
I'm taking you down too.
70% on Metacritic. The prequel to Alan Wake, where our Alan briefly raced death boats, Bloodwake, that's not true by the way, Bloodwake is an overwhelming mixture of too much exposition and putting machine guns on boats. The naval combat game does feature a lot of sass between your character and the warlord who you're indentured to, however.
Just who launched this assault?
Guess I was too busy sinking to catch their name.
Ooh, you tell him! I'm gonna go get popcorn. It's a speedboat. The wave physics can be a bit mental, often sending you absolutely flying or getting stuck on a pier, and if you, like I obviously did, were to, say, pilot your craft at full speed directly onto the beach, you would become crab bait. Apparently. It's quite responsive and it's satisfying to see everything exploding everywhere, but all you really have to do is not become crab bait and hold down a button to fire, with the auto-aim doing the rest. 71% on Metacritic, with some reviewers calling it twisted metal on water. All I know is that my victory angle showed me driving back onto the beach. Oh god, who are these people? Oh, it's the Z-Access dev team, handsome lot. Another crossover launch title from the GameCube now, and I'm thrilled to report that I'm still not good at Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2, but this time I'm choosing to blame the gigantic Xbox Duke controller. Using it is like playing thumb war with the BFG. I did a cool backflip,
Slim Jim guy returns.
and somehow managed to Sound of Music myself out of the stage. But my true calling came from attempting to do tricks over cars. It went well. Still though, DMF BMX 2 is good fun and easy enough to pick up if you're a Tonky Hanks Pro Skater fan, with plenty of challenge and trick requirements to hit and bikes and locations to unlock. The camera can get a bit confused sometimes, but it's a good game all round. 76% on Metacritic, with Xbox exclusive calling it something that is worth taking notice of. Cool. Everyone's favourite game about driving and cutting down trees and blowing up boats with your pink hair and riding boats and looking at seagulls and Kevin Bacon dancing in an abandoned warehouse and throwing a paper aeroplane before riding a bike and killing soldiers in the woods, shooting a helicopter out of the sky with an arrow and fighting French women in the woods, Dead or Alive 3 was a welcome addition to the Xbox's launch lineup. In fact, DOA 3 was actually an Xbox exclusive, a big get for the young platform. Immediate takeaways for me were how fast it loaded fights and just how well it holds up from a graphical perspective, still looking just as pretty and colourful today as it did 20 years ago. Myself and this tiny pink-haired ninja earned a clutch victory against a very game Jan Lee, but I found the fight against Big Daddy Omega a little confusing, mainly thanks to the camera angles. IGN said it represents the new standard of excellence that only the Xbox can deliver, awarding it 9.4 out of 10, with the Metacritic settling on 87%. Fuzion Frenzy, yes that's Fusion with a Z, is a 4-player party game featuring 45 different mini-games. I read that directly from Wikipedia because what in the flipping hell is this? I only played one round in my time with it, experiencing the following games. There was Pod Hog, where you must hold onto the pod for the longest while keeping it away from your enemies. If they get it, you just shoot them and take it back. Tank Tracks was a sort of top-down racing game. Avoid the rising obstacles, shoot your friends to slow them down, and finish first. I found the controls for this one super unwieldy, but thankfully I had unbelievable rubber banding on my side, and I won. Space Trails appeared to be a barely concealed remix of Pod Hog, which was great, and then Military Base had you collect coloured orbs and bring them to your designated score zone. It's almost certainly more fun with friends, but I found it clunky, frustrating, and not fun. 70% on Metacritic.
Not bad, but I think your baselines need tightening.
Oh, shut up, Doug. Oh yes, it's that time. Without mincing words, Halo Combat Evolved is likely one of the few reasons Xbox survived its first generation at all. Bungie's definitive first-person shooter not only changed the game with its fluid shooting, gorgeous presentation, and star-making performance from Master Chief, but goes down in the history books as one of the most influential games of all time, and certainly must be considered among the very best launch games ever. Pursued through space by the Covenant, an alliance of aliens, Master Chief and best friend Cortana crash land on a mysterious ring world and are charged with keeping the location of Earth a secret so that the Covenant can't go and ruin it any more than the humans already had. The campaign mode allows you to experience the whole thing in co-op, and not satisfied with just 2-player Halo, Bungie then went and completely revolutionized online versus multiplayer for a laugh. I sadly couldn't play any of it as the servers were shut down some years ago, but I'm secretly glad as the footage likely would have just been me dying over and over again, and you know it. It earned a well-deserved 97% average on Metacritic, with Edge calling Halo the most important launch game for any console ever. Couldn't agree more. Graffiti is art, but even though it looks cool as hell here, don't you dare do it in real life! Now please press A to confirm you will not do crime. The sequel to the iconic Dreamcast title, Jet Set Radio Future, was an Xbox exclusive, putting you in the very fetching roller skates of Yo-Yo. Set in a future version of Tokyo, the city is under the tyrannical thumb of the Rokaku group, and the only way to fight back is by doing sick rollerblade tricks, bopping to some sick beats, and under no circumstances tagging the environment with sick graffiti. Come on, you promised. DJ Professor K is on hand to play those sick tunes and fill you in on the exposition, and just look at these cool cats.
The hottest team at the moment is the GGs. There's Yo-Yo, a guy who'll blow your mind with silver tongue, and Gum, a real cool lady who leaves a trail of broken hearts wherever she goes. And let's not forget their leader, a self-styled genius that goes by the name of Korn.
I want to join their club, please. It's fortunately very forgiving with the grinding and trick doing and even lets you do fun little hops upstairs in your skates. IGN awarded it Best Music, Best Graphics, Artistic, and Best Platformer at the Outlets Awards that year, with the game ending up with an 88% average on Metacritic. It's Crystal Dynamics popping up in obscure places again now as we turn our attention to Mad Dash Racing, the racing game where you race using your legs. Whoa! Despite not letting me drive fast or furiously, the game features a diverse roster of racers, boasting the sort of humour that we loved in 2001 and definitely still love today.
I can clear a room in 5 seconds. See?
Cool.
Needless to say, it's absolutely teeming with tude. That's how cool people say attitude, by the way, get on my level. But the gameplay wasn't quite as spectacular. Generous rubber banding meant I ended up winning the race, but I was constantly getting stuck on bits of scenery and little ledges. You have to make your way across a variety of obstacles from water to netted ceilings and walls, all the while butting heads with the controls, which were at best inventive. I mean, moving with the left stick and twirling the right stick to swim faster. That doesn't come naturally, does it? Perhaps critics recognise this level as being a shameless rip-off of Ruse Tubes from Crash Team Racing, as Mad Dash Racing received 65% on Metacritic. And it's finally time to cover the best game about a sad man who lost his wife and child and can slow down time but only to fire bullets ever made. There's a very good chance a lot of you will know Max Payne from either his original 2 outings or the Rockstar reimagining from 2012. Emblazoned with the famous SamLakeFace.jpg, Max is an NYPD detective a bit down on his luck, searching for the killers of his wife and baby. It's a bit dark then, and the gameplay matches the tone. Max can heal up by popping painkillers and, yes, can slow motion dive to shoot people in the face. This mechanic makes you feel like all the action heroes you ever loved growing up, and while the dialogue and presentation has aged a little bit, as seen in Max's house with the highest ceilings I've ever seen, it's more than made up for by its grim narrative, slow-mo shooty dives, and these really cool graphic novel-inspired cutscenes. Also, how good is the name Max Payne? It's like calling your protagonist Big Guns or Punch Doer or, I don't know, John Rambo. All made up names. Winning a boatload of awards, Max Payne received an average of 89% on Metacritic. Oh yeah, here we go, sports time! I've played a basketball game before. I don't know what's going on, but I've never watched basketball, so I'm going to give this everything I've got. 69ers, 69ers, 69ers! The lads of the 69ers are back in action, and isn't that high five circle looking nice? Everybody please get vaccinated so we can get back to high-fiving one another in a sports time capacity, yeah? Hang on a minute, was that Shaquille O'Neal just scored? Shaquille O'Neal, the wrestler and pizza connoisseur? What a strange time 2002 was. Oh, buckets! What a flippin' Dunkaroony McStonk slam that was. And another! Whew! Matt Geiger is definitely my MVP, and what a dynasty, as his grandfather invented the Geiger counter. Fun fact. Once again, I'm in the position of being able to dunk the buckety boos with ease, but completely unable to tackle. Give me the ball! Give it! I learned how to shove and injured Shaq, but I had nothing else to prove, so scored a sloppy hoop goal and got out of there. 76% on Metacritic. Oh yeah, here we go, sports time! I've played an ice hockey game before. I scored almost immediately and have suffered night terrors ever since. But I've never watched ice hockey, so I'm going to give this everything I've got. Any game that has a button for Big Hit is alright in my book, and here come my favourite Pokemon emblazoned team! Onto the ice field they go. Oh, Lemieux! What a goal! Lemieux again! And another! What a sports time performance from this young lad. Absolutely unprecedented. And another goal now. Is NHL 2002 patronising me? Don't get it twisted. I'm very grateful to Lemieux for carrying me to sports time victory, but I'm not this good, am I? We'll just have to see if I fare any better in the next game, I suppose. NHL 2002 lets you do big hits and zoom around the field of play like an Icelandic princess, and what's not to like about that? Critics agreed, awarding the title a very lofty 89%. It's all down to Lemieux though, let's be real. Oh yeah, here we go, sports time! I've played an ice hockey game before. But I've never watched ice hockey, so I'm going to give this everything I've got. Come on everyone, sing along to the Limpy Limp Biscuit intro. You know the words. Now move in, hands up, hands down, back up, tell me what you're gonna do now. It's another title also included in the GameCube's launch lineup now, and in NHL Hitz 2002 you must choose your 3 favourite Ice Kings for a cheeky spot of 3-on-3. Gotta have my boy Lemieux and piss. This one is way more chaotic than NHL 2002. It's fast almost to the point where I couldn't keep up. It's worth noting, however, that I fared a lot better with the GameCube version, but that's likely down to a combination of not using a controller the size of a house and my ridiculous capture setup causing a bit of lag. Very much a me problem then, but NHL Hits is still a good laugh for some riotous arcadey fun. 79% on Metacritic. Oddworld Munch's Odyssey is a game in which Munch, a small fish being, witnesses his friends fish to the point of extinction before being fished himself. Nuh-uh, says Abe, leaping into action at the behest of the almighty Raisin. Using the collective bargaining power of your fellow Mudokons, you must struggle to walk across uneven terrain, fail basic jumps, and walk into mines. Again, this was likely down to my weird capture setup causing input lag, as the game was received rather well overall, achieving 79% on Metacritic. However, critics were dissatisfied with the overall polish. GameSpot said Oddworld's Munch's Odyssey is a very smart game with great puzzles, yet there's not enough variety in those puzzles to keep it completely entertaining throughout. I will never not love the voice acting in these games though.
Don't drink that!
Why not?
Cause, if brew's made by gluckins, it's probably bad for you.
So precious. We're taking a spin to Gotham, Nottinghamshire now with the debut outing of Project Gotham Racing. And my goodness, if it doesn't fit the bill of a perfect addition to a launch lineup. It does, however, once again, warn us against doing crime.
What are you afraid of, Microsoft?
PGR is all about the kudos. You get kudos for driving fast, kudos for drifting, and you lose kudos for ruining both of those things, as I did. A lot. As such, your ability to progress will not necessarily come down to the position you finish in a race, but also how cool you looked doing it. It's definitely owed some bonus points for localized radio stations depending on what part of the world you're racing in. I wasn't expecting to hear Capital FM, but there we are. Oh, and also I managed to smack this guy into oblivion out of spite, and because I was losing. Project Gotham Racing is intuitive, pretty, and fun as hell, achieving 85% on Metacritic. Oh, we'll see about that RalliSport challenge. We'll see about that. If I were ever allowed behind the wheel of a rally car, I'd kill so many civilians. A shock horror rally game released on Xbox and PC, the game boasts a variety of modes, as well as a level of realism that I'd probably have more of an appreciation of if I had even a passing interest in rally racing. It looks good, the rumble support was impressively immersive, and it even stuck you with your very own robot co-driver.
Square right, careful trees outside.
Excuse me, I just want to get past, mate. Oh, whoops. I'm sure it'll be fine. Sorry, Michelin Man. Who am I kidding? What's he gonna do? Oh my god, he's here! The game actually outperformed Project Gotham Racing, with the critics receiving 87% on Metacritic and being named the second best video game of March 2002 by GameSpot, which is a weird award. The last of our cross-pollination GameCube launch titles, but our first and only appearance of the radical cool skater boy Birdman. Yes, it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, and what else can I really say about it? There's the Ace of Spades intro. You're welcome. There's also a wide variety of levels with plenty of objectives to complete in absurd and stylish ways. Of course, you can always fall off your board over and over and over again, I'm a trendsetter. Weirdly, I found the Skater Creation Suite to be a complete chore. The game would chug and take a number of seconds to show me a new hairstyle or shirt, but it was the incremental chug to render each and every inch of my character's adjusted height that really took the biscuit. That's a minor gripe though, as I successfully created Flower Power Woman and let her loose on the skate park to be really shit. An incredible 93% on Metacritic, with GamePro saying, buy it and be happy. That's an order. TransWorld Surf is, I think, trying to be the Tom Hanks pro inflator of surfboarding games, but does it succeed? Well, I didn't, but there's a bit of a trend forming on that front, isn't there? You begin by picking from a selection of real-world surfers, the VO for whom sounds an awful lot like they're on some kind of dating show.
Timmy Kern's from Oxnard, California, and this man has made a name by busting moves that nobody else can stick.
I then spent most of my time paddling out in the rough direction of a wave before attempting a combination of mashing buttons to do tricks and turning slightly left and right. There is a Pro Tour mode where, as you might expect, you need to complete certain objectives in order to proceed, and you can even take out your fellow surfers via the embracing of complete sporting negligence. Fun. I did enjoy the sick and sweet end card, but it wasn't for me. Here comes GameSpot, however, with another weird award, as TransWorld Surf was nominated in their annual Best In-Game Water category. 76% on Metacritic. Wreckless, the Yakuza missions, or Double Steel if you want to go Japanese about this, really threw me for a loop. It's ostensibly a driving game, but it's really weird. 2 scenarios were playable for me. The first featured Hong Kong police surviving a huge crash that clearly completely wipes out where they were eating lunch, and then hopping in their cute little car to pursue the baddies and destroy them before the time is up. Immediately though, what is up with this art style? It looks pre-rendered and not at the same time? What's happening? Anyway, we're upset about our pudding being ruined.
No! My pudding!
So we've got to run them off the road. Problem is, they're really fast, and we're not. I had a similar situation with the second scenario, which features 2 spies.
Chubby Wubby, this is Hubby Dubby. Are you there?
Oh god, this isn't very good, is it? The city is surprisingly busy, but the driving isn't fun and it takes ages to catch up to enemies. Plus, you've got people and vehicles just straight up disappearing. Honestly, I don't know what to think. It scored 74% on Metacritic, but did you like it? Let me know. And that 74% takes the average of the Xbox launch lineup to 80.5%. And there we are, every original Xbox launch title sort of reviewed in 2021. Were there any among them that were your favourite, and why was it Halo? Why not follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with future videos in this series? Like the video, share it around, tell your friends, all that kind of stuff. It really helps. Oh, and subscribe to the channel too. That'd be nice. There's more of these coming. I'm about to record another one right now, so, you know. Thank you so much for watching, look after yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye!